Hi, and welcome to my very first alcohol marker tutorial. I'm going to demonstrate a quick, easy technique of blending between three different colors in the same color family. I'm using Copic markers E13, 15, and 25. Hopefully you can see that there. And basically, I am going to blend them all together to show you how you can achieve some shadows and lights just using the three basic colors. I always like to start from light to dark because it's easier to darken something that's light as opposed to the other way around. I'm saturating this portion of the paper in order to apply the next color. So this is the E15. I'm coming from the other direction and I'm going back again and kind of touching both colors together. I then go back to the first color and go over to try to blend that in. And you can do this as many times as you want, depending on how much blend you want, or if you want texture, you do the desired look that you are trying to achieve. So it may take some time, or you might be able to do it quicker than that. I'm going in with a darker color towards the other side so that I can blend that one in with the mid color. So you get a sort of an ombre effect or a gradient effect, depending on which words you're familiar with using. And so I'm going back there with the E15 and kind of blending out the dark color, and then I'm going back in with my first color and blending in the middle so that the three colors can blend fairly easy. I know you can see them there, but if you continue to blend back and forth, you can achieve a seamless blend. But I'm trying to keep it simple. So I'm going to show you how I painted this cute little otter from a Unity stamp company that I had. I'm using Memento Ink, which is friendly for alcohol markers, and I made sure that it was dry before I started to paint. And I'm just adding just a basic coloring using the lightest color first. I like to go in sections, so I'll do the head first, or maybe even the smallest object. And I also keep in mind the light source. So my light source is going to be kind of coming from the upper right hand corner where I'm at. And to add a little bit of depth and detail, I am adding some shadow under the mouth of the otter and under the chin. And I'll just go basically around adding a little bit of that and blending it in with the first marker. So you'll see me go back and forth between these colors until it reaches my desired effect and my desired look. So depending on the size of your image or how much detail you want, it may or may not take a long time. Generally with these, I do like to just do smaller images because it just makes it a little easier to work with. Larger images will take more time and more ink. I am using the Copic markers that are refillable, which I like because they are more cost effective and you can refill them whenever your ink starts to run low, as well as the brush tips can be um, changed should they start to get damaged. But these markers last a long time. Sometimes they can be a little bit pricey, but I think it's worth the investment because I've had these for years. So I'm just continuing to add a little bit of more details here, keeping it simple. The other thing I do want to note is you do not want to use watercolor or canvas paper or canvas with alcohol markers because it will absorb all of the markers and then it'll just dry out your pen, and that's not something you want happen. So they won't work well either. But a pretty decent cardstock. I'm using 80 pound, but you can go a heavier weight if you like. And they do sell marker paper as well as some art journals that will work with alcohol markers. So that's something to keep in mind. And I'm continuing to do that part there. Another thing that I do want to mention is also investing in a good set of alcohol based pens if you want to do sketching and drawing. I like to do stamps, and so I'll use Memento ink. There are other inks that will work, but this is what I'm using and have been using for years and been pretty successful with them. Now I'm adding some details to make it look like fur just by tapping the light color one. And I'm also going to use the colorless blender, which is basically zero color in the Copic family. And it's just the alcohol ink itself in a pen. And this is helpful to add highlights to your pictures or even erase. And so you just basically have to go over the area you want to highlight a little bit at a time until you achieve that desired effect you want. So I'm just kind of stippling it along to give it a little texture. Here I'm taking the R20 to color in the little hearts and the R85 to just add a little bit of shadow in there. And then I'll go back into the R20 to blend it all together. Then I'm going to take the colorless blender because as you can see, I did color outside the lines, but the colorless blender also works as an eraser. All you do is touch it as I'm doing here until the color itself begins to fade out and it'll basically erase those little marks that you made. So in addition to adding highlights, you can also clean up your image. And I'm just adding a little bit more details here just to complete his face. I'm now using a Copic sketch marker 1.0, and I just want to add a little bit more darker color to his nose and eyes because when I stamped it, it didn't completely stay dark. But these are just one of those little things you can do to add a little more detail to an image. And that pretty much covers some of the basics in Copics. I hope that you give this a try. If you like this and want to see more, please comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. I hope you all have a blessed day. Bye.